we go. Evening, everybody. Looks like we're live. How's everyone? Hi, Kylie. Good to see you. So, to start off, good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. Hopefully this time will be a little less technical difficulties than Thursday. Should be just about fine. Mass Effect has been giving me a lot fewer problems than Dragon Age, given that Dragon Age is on old, outdated programming and stuff. This is a blueberry wine. Since I think we were talking about this last week, blueberry wines of some kind. Last week sometime, I figured I would pick one up because I happened to see it. This is a Stella Rossi, I think, blueberry wine. Not something local, unfortunately. I have a very hard time finding local beers and wines around here. Mostly just because I live out in the middle of nowhere, and most of where I get most of my liquor is Winn-Dixie. So I don't, there isn't a lot from right around here, sadly. Although there are a lot of wineries and even breweries right around here. It's just not a retail chains. Anyway, I only get really good local stuff when I go to really good local places, or specialized stuff. Sparacia Witherell. I don't know what that means. Hey Heath, good to see you. How's it going? Anyway, we're jumping in as we get started. As I have for a while, I've got I've been on a kick of this lately. I'm actually surprised by how good this is. A s'mores flavored coffee. I think it's 8 O'Clock Coffee is the brand. Surprisingly good. Sparacia Witherell has a good blueberry and regular wines, Kylie says. Awesome. Good to hear. I will, and that's somewhere around here, I assume. That's not the one that's Lakelandish, is it? Because I know there's a winery that does blueberry wine out that way. It's really, really good. Heath says, I see you post every so often. They usually end up being on my nerd game event, so I figured I'd pop in for a free evening. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to have you. Get a feel for what we're up to. We are tonight just getting into some of the most philosophically interesting parts of Mass Effect 3, which is the war between the Quarians and the Geth. All sorts of questions of just war, unjust war, all sorts of questions of artificial intelligence, as the post from earlier indicates. Lots of cool stuff to talk about. Where I including one about artificial intelligence, where I tend to come down on a bit of the other side, as the game very clearly does. So that'll be useful for analysis, and also talking about things like, can we discuss what might be metaphysical impossibilities in a hypothetical format, and what would be the implications of it, and can we even consider such things? Is that useful to do? Interesting open questions. Kelly says, yeah, it's around your area. That's what I told you about. I don't remember where. I'll have to look it up. That does sound good. I do like blueberry wines. This one is very blueberry-ish. It does not look it. I'm used to blueberry wines being blue. I guess it's most people who make blueberry wines try very hard to make them blue, because I know it wouldn't be reasonably. Blueberry juice is that color. So, okay. We left off talking to Admiral Ron. We just did the first mission around Rannoch. And we have a few to do to help out Legion, but first I think we should talk to all of the various Quarians around. Oh, and Legion. See what they have to say.
Shepard, Commander. You opposed Creator Admiral Zen's attempt to confiscate our platform.
She's done enough already.
Your assistance continues to be noted.
You say Geth fighters are targeting the Quarians' live ships.
Hostile Geth fighter squadrons intend to breach the live ship's defenses. The assigned squadrons are networked to a server on Rannoch. If the live ships are damaged, the Creators will lose armaments, provisions, people.
So we destroy the server?
No, Geth programs would transfer to alternate servers. They are only vulnerable through direct interface. Removing Geth from this server will prevent significant creator deaths. We will accompany you on this mission.
Okay, cool. So, again, we've got targeting civilians in particular, which already brings up questions of just warfare and in this case in particular, unjust warfare. That certainly is an underhanded tactic. Then again, we have Quarians who are converting civilian ships into warships. So we have kind of both sides of the problem here. We have effectively a war crime being committed by the Geth in response to... Actually, I'm not sure if that would qualify as a war crime, but involving civilians in combat in that capacity is certainly contrary to just war theory, broadly speaking. I don't know whether that would qualify as a breach of war crimes under sort of our international conventions, Geneva Convention, etc. But I would think so. It would fall under ununiformed combatants or something like that. It would certainly fall under sort of just war theory more broadly. It would fall under the problem of limiting scope. Right, involving civilians to this degree expands the scope of the war far, far beyond what it otherwise would need to be. So Kylie says the one that I've gotten has always been a dark purple color. Yeah, that's reasonable. Because that's the color blueberry juice is, which realistically, basically this color, is what it should be. I've gotten blueberry wine before that is like bright blue, like the outside of a blueberry. Yeah, Erica says, isn't it the Quarians who are directly and pointedly using live ships as warships who would be committing war crimes against their own people? Sorry, I just got here. Yeah, same thing. Realistically, okay, this is another interesting side note here. Is that when one side commits a war crime, it makes it very hard for the other side to fight justly in response, which is a sort of moral quandary, right? It's almost a moral dilemma. And it's very hard to fight justly against someone who is fighting unjustly. And so both sides here would be ostensibly committing war crimes. It'd be roughly the equivalent of using civilian human shields, but then the other side focus firing on the civilians involved, which is what they're doing, right? The Geth are focusing on attacking the civilian live ships to deter the Quarians from continuing their attack, which is effectively terrorism, right? It's attacking civilians to deter warfare. It's answering a war crime with a different war crime, which is, that's why there was, again, from a just war perspective, it's basically why there was no sort of good guy side in either of the world wars in the 20th century, is because both sides committed war crimes against one another, and in a lot of cases, obviously, against their own citizens. Eric says, how could the Geth be committing war crimes if they're directly defending themselves? Not only that, if the civilians didn't want to be in the war, they would probably rebel against the captains. Possibly. It's hard to put the moral onus on civilians to rebel against military officers, just given the power dynamic. Although probably they ought to. I think that is something like a moral imperative. Maybe they did choose to be involved, and that if that is the case, then they would effectively be becoming combatants, and that would be the problem of escalating beyond its necessary scope, which is its own problem under just war theory. Eric continues, so the Quarians literally made every single civilian an enemy combatant, because every person on a ship is responsible for keeping the ship running. Yeah, that like I was saying, this falls in line with exactly what I was saying as well, right? That a big problem here is expanding the scope of the conflict beyond what is strictly necessary for defensive purposes would be the strict line, right? So in any case, the Geth here, though, right? So since they're targeting live ships, would be specifically targeting, effectively targeting population centers. This would be similar to how the Allies in World War II targeted Dresden, for example, for firebombing. Because, yes, industrial capacity in Dresden was essential to the Axis war effort. However, on the other hand, it's still a city full of civilians. I mean, rather than focusing on military targets in particular. So yes, it was helping the war effort, but it was also trying to deter the German populace, the Axis populace in general. So let's see if we can get more details on this Quarian attack. Maybe this will clear up some of the mud.
The Geth have fought the Quarians before. What made this different?
The Geth were building a megastructure to house all Geth, store all memories. It was to end our isolation from each other.
And the Quarian flotilla attacked it.
Yes. A significant amount of programs were installed when creators began bombing. We did not have sufficient surplus hardware to save them all. Some programs could not be recovered.
Kevin says, excuse me. Kevin says, I'm not familiar with at all with Mass Effect, but there's bound to be good words said here. I hope so. I hope to say some good ones. Welcome, hello, good evening. I will say you should be. Mass Effect is one of my favorite sort of franchises, and one of my favorite science fiction franchises. And I'm a big fan of science fiction. And Mass Effect does a lot of what I love about sci-fi very, very well, exploring deep philosophical issues like this, like just war and artificial intelligence and all of that. But then also wonderful job of world building, which I just love so very much. It's what I always loved about the old Star Wars expanded universe, the old Legends continuity, was the expansive world building and the minute fine grain detail. He says such a great series with the remaster coming out soon, worth a look into. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you haven't played it yet, the remaster is coming out like next month. Remaster of the full series, all the DLC 1, 2, and 3 all together. The only thing missing, so there's like two things missing from it, which I'll talk about because one of them's a meme. One of them's definitely a meme. But in general, right, it is a fantastic opportunity to play all of the games at once together, put together with consistent and updated graphics and interface stuff and UI and all of the good goodies that come with a new game. All for a AAA game price. I think it's $59.99, $69.99, somewhere in that range. Don't quote me on that. It's new game retail price. It's already for pre-order. Probably don't pre-order it because you know how that goes. Just saying, I don't like pre-orders. Anyway, though, it's missing multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, but that community is kind of sparse at this point. It's a 7-year-old game at this point, so 6-7 years old, something like that. So the multiplayer community is already pretty sparse. The other thing it's missing were some minor changes to some camera angles in Mass Effect 2. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. If not, I could explain at some point. It's a meme. But they changed it.
Is that what made the Geth desperate enough to work for the Reapers?
Yes. Imagine that for every one of your people lost on Earth, your own intelligence dimmed. The Creator's attack narrowed the Geth's perspective. Self-preservation took precedence.
You were afraid you'd be wiped out.
We do not experience fear as you would.
Yes,
but we have no desire to be exterminated.
Even if the Reapers cost the Geth free will?
That is evidently an acceptable trade.
Okay, perfectly relevant. So, let me explain briefly, for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Kylie, you might not. Kevin, you obviously don't, because how could you? Maybe except for the memes. So, there is a character named Miranda Lawson. Kylie, you may remember her as the one in the Cerberus cheerleader in spandex. In the space spandex. So, there's there are a few, if you might recall from the previous game, there are a few, let's say, gratuitous camera angles throughout various conversations with Miranda that are, let's say, upwards. Peach emoji in particular. Hold on. Can you guys hear the cicada? I'm gonna have to close the window. Yeah, I'm gonna have to close the window. Okay. Sorry about that. I'll keep talking, though, while I get up and do this. It's that season, I guess. We were warned. Better. Afraid of that. Anyway, so that's fixed. So the hopefully the sound doesn't come through the window. Anyway, It's that season, apparently. I hate springtime. It's like a loss of winter. Much better, though. It's much better. Anyway. So, there was upward camera angles from behind. Of her behind. There were butt shots, basically. There's butt shots from in important dialogue moments. In very dramatic and backstory heavy and like character rich, character building moments that are talking about childhood trauma and her self doubt and all of this, while the camera is taken up like 3/4 of the screen by her ass, which, probably not the best creative decision, really. So I will say, I get why. Aside from just, blatant fan service, whatever. Yes, obviously, fine. And that's dumb. So we should, maybe that makes it a bad decision by itself. It probably does. Kylie, I can't believe you don't remember this. I was making fun of it at the time, I think. And I was doing some of those. In any case, so there was the problem with this. Well, the reason I almost think it worked. Was that she was, like, her character was the sort of femme fatale archetype. In Mass Effect 2, the whole series really, but mostly Mass Effect 2, was an 80s action movie with every cliche rolled into it, including the character archetypes, like the femme fatale, the punk girl, Jack. You had the badass assassin, who was basically every 80s action star, who was, like, 2 weeks away from retirement because he's dying. It's Thane. Oh, no. Every bit of it. Every bit of Mass Effect 2 was an 80s action movie, so it fit the aesthetic. However, it totally didn't fit the tone of the scenes that they were in at all. So it's very much like us talking about this now, while we're discussing the possible extermination of the Geth race at the hands of the Reapers and the Quarians accidentally working together, where, we shouldn't be talking about butt shots. Even though we are, right? It's this weird tonal schizophrenia that I usually hate so very much. So they're getting rid of it. They're changing the camera angles in those scenes so that it's actually, focusing on the characters and not their assets, so to speak. He says she was caked up, as the kids say. I don't know what that means. I assume that's what it means. Assisted by the fact she was, like, genetically created to be perfect or something. Yeah, that was the thing, right? So she's dealing with the problem of, like, her genetic perfection. She was genetically engineered for physical and mental and biotic perfection. And her ass. But she was working through these issues, so okay, I get what they were going for. Interview with Casey Hudson, the lead writer. Was basically talking about this. She was depicted as the sort of shallow femme fatale, and as you talk to her, her character deepens, which it does. She's a much deeper character in Mass Effect 3, but really she becomes a much deeper character by Mass Effect 3, not so much much less so over the course of 2. Kindly says I'm half asleep, so I don't remember a whole lot of things. Yeah, so this was a big deal that's been made fun of since the game came out in, like, 2012 or something. Mass Effect 2, that is. And so for the remaster, they're changing it, and a bunch of people are upset about the change. I kind of don't like the change, which is weird, because I just talked about how I think it was a bad creative choice, and it shouldn't have happened, and it's gratuitous and unnecessary and a total mess, which I do think it was. I think it was a total mess. Tonal mess, sorry. But just because I don't think it should have been done in the first place, that doesn't mean I think it should have been changed with the remaster, right? It was an artistic decision at the time. It was probably a bad artistic decision. It was probably a mistake. They probably shouldn't have done it. But the fact is they did, and it's part of the game, right? It's part of the work of art that was the game. And going back and fiddling with it retrospectively, I don't know. It reeks of a lack of integrity. There's a lack of artistic integrity going on, of refusing to own your mistakes. This is like how a good piece of literature, whether that's fiction, nonfiction, written or film or a game or whatever, is never complete. It's only left alone. Right? if you've ever written a paper, which I do all the time, you know that you can always keep revising it, but eventually you have to hit submit, and that's it. It's a cutoff point. It's done. You have to say it's done, even if it's not done, and there could be more changes to do. Refusing to do that is kind of leaving the door open to all sorts of other messes that you don't want to have. This constant revisionism where you want to go back and fix things. It's also really similar to things like J.K. Rowling on Twitter talking about how adding things to the universe retrospectively, right? Most notoriously that Dumbledore was gay all along, and there was that, but if you look, there were really subtle signs for it, and it's like, you kind of just made that up. We all know you just made that up. Or like, favorite, maybe the most egregious example of this, if not the most famous, was when the Fantastic Beasts movie, the second Fantastic Beasts movie came out. She was asked in an interview, okay, so when did you come up with this backstory for Nagini, the snake? I'm not going to say what it was, but she was asked what, in case you haven't seen it and want to, she was asked, when did you come up with this twist, this secret backstory? She says, right around the time I was writing, I think she said Goblet of Fire. I was like, that's not true at all. It's so incredibly obviously not true, but she's just going in and retrospectively adding things in, and so the work never gets done. It's a kind of, like I said, a lack of artistic integrity that bothers me about it. Not the actual change itself. Honestly, I could do without the gratuitous butt shots of Miranda. We get it. She's a femme fatale. There's plenty of scenes depicting that and doing a great job conveying what kind of character she is. Her introduction scene is, it does a pan-up shot of her standing there all, Miranda. And then she shoots somebody in the head. Perfect introduction. So we don't need it. And it doesn't fit those scenes. So it's probably a good change. I just don't like that there are changes like that. That's all. It's similar to if they changed the ending in a major way. Like, I wouldn't like that either, despite the problems that a lot of people have with the ending. Worth noting, I don't really have those same problems with the ending. I actually liked the ending of Mass Effect 3, which we will get to eventually. I actually liked it. I'm one of the very few people who thought it was a really, really good ending. I will, once again, as I always do, recommend a video from a YouTube channel called Space Doc on the ending of Mass Effect 3 and why it was perfect for the character of Shepard. Always recommend that. If you're familiar with it, check it out. If you haven't seen it before. Especially if you have seen the ending or are familiar with it and don't mind it being spoiled. All right, so let's come back to go with the meme of the day. Let's circle back to what we were talking to Legion about. That got off to quite the tangent. Sorry about that. Let's see what happened to Legion in particular that led to him being the what would we say, the data relay for the Reapers to take over the rest of the Geth.
What'd you do after you left the Normandy?
Our physical platform returned to the Geth consensus beyond the Perseus Veil. Data gathered during our mission confirmed that the old machine's return was imminent. We planned for war.
So the Geth believed your proof that the Reapers were coming back?
Of course.
That must have been nice.
Reapers. Glad they at least perfectly logical programmed Geth will at least cede to evidence. The kind which the Citadel Council was less likely to listen to.
What was interfacing with a Reaper like?
The old machine took total control of our sensory equipment, our networking. Even then, we could not fully comprehend them. They are magnitudes above us. A single thought was immense, overwhelming, unknowable.
You're making them sound godlike.
Their forms are advanced but mundane. We do not view the old machines as analogs to deities. However, we have gained perspective on why others would imbue them with these qualities.
All right, so that's actually relevant. We often hear that the mind of God must be infinitely complex, or that we particularly a school of thought that we typically refer to as theistic personalism, takes God to be something like a human being, but like a human mind, but without limitation. Again, infinite complexity. We think of God as being complicated, complex rather than simple. We're the simple things. They are infinitely beyond us in every way. Well, okay, yes, infinity is beyond us in every way. However, under a proper understanding of theology, God is the opposite of that. Is not mundane, like our thoughts, but of an infinite complexity, but is different in kind and utterly and absolutely simple. It's simple in every way, meaning God's thoughts are not properly described as thoughts, but it is thought itself, right? It is the idea of reason, logic, understanding, reality, right? Not the particulars of this or that thought, this or that discussion or complexity or dispute or what have you, like the Reapers seem to be. And so on this model, right, on this understanding, the Reapers, or, gods in the sort of small g, Olympian sense, let's say, are almost precisely the opposite of God. They take human beings and they go in the opposite direction. Right? They take more of our particularity, our finitude, they extrapolate that further into something bigger, more complex, more parts, more disputes, more problems, more powers, but also more limitations because of those powers and all that. It's the opposite way of sort of thinking our way up to God in the proper theological sense. Anyway, what about the Geth that agreed with the Reapers, if we recall back from the second game?
Back on the Dreadnought, you mentioned Geth heretics. What exactly happened to them after we blew up that satellite?
Your decision was sound. Deleting the heretics resulted in fewer Geth allied with the old machines.
So you don't regret killing them?
It was logical. If we had not deleted the heretics, we would face an increased number of hostile Geth platforms. Death holds different consequences for synthetics than organics. Do you harbor regrets about deleting the heretics?
No.
We're already facing millions of Geth working for the Reapers. I'm okay with thinning those numbers again.
You will likely have the opportunity to do so.
And the acting for Legion, as well as for ED, the synthetics in this game are very, very good. Like, you could feel the resolve and yet sorrow in that line delivery, even through the sort of vocalized filters. That's very, very good.
We'll talk later.
We will remain here.
All right. Who else we got? Oh, let's talk to Tally.
I haven't heard any news about that Reaper base. Hopefully they'll give us a target soon.
What about the Quarians? How are things back with them?
How is it being back with the fleet?
Right now, it's exhausting. I'm an admiral in the middle of a war. I just want us to get out of this alive. Everything else can wait.
When this is over, I could use your help.
I can't, Shepard. If we survive this, we'll have a homeworld. My people need me.
You could help your people's homeworld by fighting the Reapers.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not thinking that far ahead yet.
We'll see. I suspect she's coming with us.
Talk to you later, Tally.
Sure.
All right, that's about everybody here. So let's see if any of our other crew members have anything to say about Tally being back in the ship or anything.
But it's tough to only fight Geth when the Reapers have taken half the galaxy.
I've added the core.
Unread messages at your private terminal, Commander.
Yes. And then let's feed the fish, because we have to feed the fish. That's also very, very important. Yay. Good fish. Ooh, Malon. I've just heard the news that you cured the genophage, and that some of the females, from my experience, were involved. I can't tell you how good this makes me feel. There hasn't been an hour I've not thought about what happened on Chachanka and wondered if I did the right thing. This news validates all the pain my experiments caused. I hope one day to meet the females again and ask for their forgiveness. Well, the one that survived. After he convinced Dr. Solis to spare me, I took his advice and opened a clinic on Omega. I thought it would help make amends for what suffering I had caused. I had to leave when word got back to Clan Werlock. They put a bounty on my head for failing to deliver a cure. Maybe now they'll leave me alone. I guess this is the second time you've saved my life, Commander. With sincere appreciation, Malon Heplorn. That would be the Solarian scientist who we had to stop in the previous game. Anything in here? Nope. Nope. Okay. Got all of our memorabilia accumulating around here. I gotta be honest. I'll also mention, Kyla. I definitely expected you to enter the chat, as often is the case, with a pterodactyl scree, and I was going to respond. I even had a line ready because I was going to respond that it could not possibly be as loud as my shirt.
If you can, that would be appreciated.
Searching for any mention of your recruits is not a complicated protocol, Major.
Trying to find out what happened to your people?
Yeah. Edie, make the scope galaxy-wide. And if I can find just one squad, they may lead me to the others.
Good luck, Caden.
Thanks, Shepard. I'll let you know what happens.
I will establish the routine now. Edie out.
This is my burger shirt. I've loved my burger shirt very much. Heath, you probably... I think I've worn this on stream at least once before. Heath, you might actually remember this from HVZ. I would wear this quite often because I was not a fan of stealth.
By the way, Shepard, it's been good having Tali around. She's a good egg. But wait, don't tell her I said that. In case it's some kind of Quarian insult.
Oh my god, I love Caden so much more now. He's from 1950. She's a good egg. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was... Oh god. Caden. What do we do without Caden? Let's see, any Shadowbroker stuff.
Joker, really? I have work to do.
Oh, come on, it's just one simple question.
Then look it up on the extranet.
You can't believe everything you find there. It's more reliable to ask a friendly Asari.
I'm not telling you if my hair tentacles move.
Fine. Deny me the answer I've been seeking for years. With this war on, we could die at any second, you know?
Joker, really? I have work to do.
Oh, come on, it's just one simple...
You know he's gonna keep bothering you till you tell him.
They're semi-flexible cartilage-based scalp crests that grow into shape, and they don't flop around.
Yes. Thanks, Liara. I gotta tell Vega I was right.
Well, at least he's making friends.
1, gained reputation. 2, don't look that up on the extranet. I mean, I'm sure we can all guess Joker's browser history, but shouldn't encourage him. Smuggler Manifest. Hey, there's still slavers. I guess we haven't genocided enough Batarians in this run. Nothing new. Alright, let's move on. Let's see how Garrus is doing.
Too bad you weren't here earlier, Tali. You just missed Rex.
I heard. I can't believe the genophage is really cured.
Shepard's on a roll. I figure if we can pull that off, we've got a shot at sorting the Geth out.
I don't know. The genophage didn't carry rifles and fight back.
No, but there was a scary bit with the mother of all Thresher Maws.
The what?
Long story. Nobody will believe it anyway.
With you, Garrus, I'd believe just about anything.
Oh? We should play poker sometime. Anyway, it's good to have you back. Now, believe it or not, this damn gun still needs calibrating.
I don't believe it. I do believe the mother of all Thresher Maws ate a Reaper. That was pretty cool.
Shepard, you just knew the Geth would figure into this war somehow.
Because Reapers weren't enough.
I need to fix the chair
Still,
again.
it's good to have Tali here. This is as much her fight as ours.
Any word from Palaven?
Some, and I don't like what I'm hearing. The Krogan are there in force, but they're just slowing the Reapers down, not stopping them. I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
Hear anything from your family?
But I did hear from Primarch Victus. He wanted my advice on fleet strength when the Crucible is ready. Still can't get used to people asking me things like that.
What did you say?
I said, at some point, we're going to have to decide if our fleets keep defending Palaven or we go on the offensive.
Can't do both.
Not with the beating we're taking. Like I said, not the sort of questions I'm used to answering.
You know what you're doing, Garrus. Trust me. Everyone can see that.
Maybe. But you spend so much time on the outside trying to get in, and when you do, it's not what I expected.
How so?
All the questions, and every one of them with a million lives riding on the answer.
You do the best you can with what you know. It's no different than your days at CSEC.
You're right. Though I'm starting to understand why the galaxy needs cold-hearted dictators every now and then.
They get things done.
They don't give a damn about the consequences. Suppose that's what it's going to take, Shepard. The ruthless calculus of war. 10 billion people over here die, so 20 billion over there can live. Are we up for that? Are you?
So, no. First of all, trade-offs like that are necessarily a problem, especially when you're actively sacrificing the 10 billion for the 20 billion. Regardless, this is his willingness to lead, but his reticence to lead, and then also the tempering that Shepard gives him over the years was why in my in this Mass Effect tabletop I keep blabbering on about that took place like 10 years after the end of the war. In this one, I had Garrus replace the Turian Counselor on the Citadel Council, the new Citadel Council, because he is very, very quickly shooting up the hierarchy, and of course couldn't shoot up the hierarchy on Palaven, being stuck on Earth, as everyone kind of is, or near Earth, whichever. But I think he has the ability to be a good leader, although with some, as we've noted, totalitarian impulses, which might be a bit of an issue. He wants to get things done, and he has no qualms. The only qualms he has with how to get things done are provided by Shepard. Like there's that webcomic that Shepard is 90% of Garrus's impulse control. Hence, when Shepard died, he goes and starts cleaning house, becoming a serial killer on Omega. So it makes enough sense.
If we reduce this war to arithmetic, we're no better than Reapers.
A nice sentiment. Let's hope we can live by it.
Yeah. Save all the lives we can. When we can save lives along with what we're doing, we should do it. Anything new in here? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Let's head downstairs. Check everything else out before we head on our next mission. It'll probably be the rescue one first. Let's check our engineers.
Need anything, Commander?
Nope, nothing really.
Carry on, Adams.
No.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
What are you guys?
Commander.
Nothing to report.
Okay, alright, fair enough.
I couldn't believe it when Shepard told me you were on the Normandy.
It appears I have that effect on humans. Now Quarians as well, it seems.
For what it's worth, Quarians understand what it's like to lose your home.
As I understand, that was your own fault.
What do you mean?
In my cycle, Quarians didn't need helmets to survive. You were the masters of your own planet.
That was a long time ago.
And if you hadn't given birth to the machines, you would still breathe the air that evolution intended.
I see. Liara warned me you weren't what she expected.
And nothing about this cycle is what I expected. Even primitive Quarians were considered attractive in my age. A pity no one can appreciate it now.
Right. You know what? I think I have something important to do now. I won't keep you.
Was that a compliment? Or was that... It was definitely at least backhanded compliment. That was...
They're called Geth.
Yes, a formidable opponent. Why did you allow one on this ship?
Legion helped us before.
It's still a machine.
I take it you had your own problems with AI?
The Jatil, they were as the Geth are to this cycle.
What happened?
Their creators lived on a dying world. It was beyond their ability to save. So they resorted to implants to enhance their intelligence.
I think I know where this is going.
The AI seized the physical body. It could alter the genetic material at the deepest level. In time, the offspring were molded into a slave race. Few organic traces were left. They were monsters. All machines commit treachery. The one you brought on board is no different.
That's a little bit of the problem, or the potential problem with Sam from Andromeda. Andromeda does takes quite the puts in a lot, quite the effort to sort of sweep the AI problem under the rug and say, okay, we found a solution to the AI problem. Here's our solution. We're going to integrate artificial intelligence with organic intelligence. The synthetic and the organic are going to work together. They're going to be symbiotic instead of antagonistic. Okay, but what about the Jatil? We have an instance of this in the backstory already, where this has been a problem in this case, at least similarly. Now, that said, maybe you can develop a symbiotic relationship, but that might also come down to the individual synthetic or the individual organic, and that might be its own problem. Erica says Ghost wouldn't do that, which Ghost being a similar concept for our from our tabletop. Same thing, right? You're not going to take over your host, right? Well, I mean, no, maybe not. Maybe not in an individual case. Maybe the AI is trained well, raised well, effectively, right? As if it's a young developing organic, right? Like a child, you know. But like organic children, there's a fair chance that one will get, raised improperly, and that will be its own issue. You know? And when it can potentially be this big of an issue, well, suffice it to say, I can see how the Jatil could be a problem. That said, it also is I get the impression it's also a problem of networking, right? So if it's an AI network linking organic minds together, then one bad egg, to use Caden's metaphor, can suddenly spoil all of them. It can suddenly spread through the network and ruin everyone's good time. So, well, I mean, it's the same problem we have with the Geth, right? The Geth have a consensus, and if that consensus goes awry, all of the Geth, or nearly all of the Geth, with apparently our exception here, at least nearly all of the Geth immediately turn as well.
Maybe, but he's not like the other Geth.
You can't know that. They are more alien than you and I are to each other.
Just because Legion isn't like us doesn't mean he can't be trusted.
You're wrong. Throw it out the airlock.
How can you be that certain?
Organics do not know how we were created. Some say by chance, some say by miracle. It is a mystery. But synthetics...
No, we created them.
And they know we are flawed.
Why do you say that?
They are immortal. We are not. They see time as an illusion. We are trapped by its limitations. Above all, machines know the reason they were created.
Edie might disagree with that, but I see your point.
They serve a purpose, while we search aimlessly for ours. In their eyes, organics have no reason to exist. Do not trust them, Commander.
I mean, this comes back to something else we've talked about as well, is I think that the question of purpose is... Okay, so again, assuming, this is a huge assumption, but assuming the kind of framework we're going on, where AI are sapient, they are rational, They have reason and self-reflection, self-awareness to the same extent and in roughly the same way that organic minds do. They're minds. They have qualia. There is something that it's like to be them. They have experience. They have all of this. They're sentient and sapient. Okay, cool. Big assumption, but let's take that as a given. In that case, organics would have the same end as synthetics. And it wouldn't be the end that they were sort of created for so much as it is individual flourishing, individual and or collective flourishing. Okay. To be a good instance of the thing that it is. An artificial intelligence would have the end or the goal or the purpose of understanding, knowing. Just like an organic mind would. There's no meaningful difference between the two. Now, they have individuated, like, specific differences in terms of their functions, in terms of their ends, in terms of the purposes, right? You know, organics have the animal purpose of reproduction. We have the vegetative purpose of maintaining our bodies and such, and all that stuff. Fair enough. Okay, fine. Synthetics may not have those same sort of sub-purposes. Right? They may have different sub-purposes. Right? So the things that they were created by organics to do, so work, creation, that stuff. Right? But all of that is, again, transformed and ordered under the end of understanding the reality that we share, that we live in. And so I don't think there is this infinite gulf, or necessarily, at least, there isn't this infinite gulf, this unbridgeable gap between organics and synthetics. At the same time, I do think that sort of just kind of lumping them together until they're indistinguishable is also rather silly, right? Necessarily embodied necessarily embodied synthetics to make them more like organics is, unless that's required, unless that's necessary for them to be functioning artificial intelligences, which again they might be. But if that's not the case, I see no reason to try and sort of merge the two or eliminate all difference, because they are pretty different, right? Just not in a fundamental or essential way. Yes, they're different substances, they're different kinds of things, but they are not in a way that merging them would be helpful to either. Yes, I am talking about the green ending as being a bad idea.
I can't believe there isn't some way for us to coexist. We made them.
And then gave them the power to surpass you. There is room for only one order of consciousness in the galaxy. The perfection of the machines or the chaos of the organics. Throw the machine out of the airlock, Commander.
I mean, that's not like it would kill it. Him. This, again, masculine personality and such. Okay. Let's head down. I should upgrade the Widow because it's really, really good. Although it's already pretty good. I don't need it for myself. No, let's not for now. Let's wait a bit. See what James has to say, and then we'll head out. He's got anything new?
Hey, Shepard. Sounds like you guys had a crazy ride over there.
You could say that.
Sorry I missed it. And that Geth Legion. I know you two have a past, but you sure we can trust it?
Legion's not like other Geth. We can trust her.
If you say so. I guess you can't always judge an individual by their species. Look at Sparks. If all the Quarians were like her, we wouldn't be stuck refereeing their war with the Geth.
Sparks?
Yeah, your Quarian friend. The jumpy one with the glowing eyes? Sparks.
Uh-huh.
Crazy that they pick now to start a fight. But I guess the end of life as we know it can make everybody a little loco.
Just a little?
Not everybody's as crazy as you, ma'am.
Oh, hey, look. A pod. It's odd. Sorry for the rhyme. Why sparks, though?
Shepard, Commander.
We'll talk later.
We will remain here.
Doing? You said you were going to remain upstairs. What happened? All right. Let's go. All right. Let's do it. Bring Tally and Garrus this time. I know I was gonna bring Tally and Garrus last time, but old and Garrus. Armor time. All right, cool. Okay, stick with the Blood Dragon. Love it. Good guns. Need to upgrade that somehow. Good, good. Oh, I need to... Wait. Okay. Power thing. Okay. All right. And let's just go with what I had. Gladius. Will do. And looks like we're good.
Commander Shepard, this is Admiral Zan. Have you reached Salkoris' escape pod?
Not yet. What's your status?
The civilian fleet has taken significant losses since Salkoris sacrificed his ship to destroy a Geth ground cannon. Searching for their lost admiral is the only thing keeping the captains from panicking.
What makes finding the Admiral a priority?
Despite opposing the invasion, he did an admirable job protecting our civilian ships. Without him, some of our non-combatants are planning to leave the flotilla. Picture the consequences, if you will.
We're just talking about this, huh?
They've lost a leader in a war they didn't want.
Their wants are immaterial. We are committed. Even Salkoris understood the civilian fleet's importance. The invasion would be stalled without a supply chain, after all.
I'll do what I can. Keep your civilians safe.
I make no promises. My own ships must be coordinated for our final strike on Rannoch.
I'm getting some
Don't
static.
like her.
It appears Salkoris crashed within range of a Geth jamming tower. You must disable it to contact it.
Zen? Admiral Zen!
Well, this should make things interesting.
We'll see in a minute. Take us into the tower.
You know, it's actually something I really liked about Mass Effect 3 over 2, is how much the characters interact with each other. Your squad mates interact with each other, especially on the ship.
The Geth installed anti-aircraft guns beside the jamming tower.
We'll have to disable them on foot. Once the guns are gone, you take out the tower.
Right, Commander. Setting you down here.
Okay.
My people have been in exile for centuries. To be standing here in the land of my ancestors,
Understood.
Okay. You'd take a moment, Tally?
Jamming towers. Clever. But if we just towed in some asteroids...
You want to drop meteors on Rannoch? You'd make it unlivable.
The dust would settle, and you've already got the suits.
Erica says there are prettier planets to pine over. That is true. That is... I won't deny that. I mean, listen. It's one region. I assume this is not a sort of one biome type planet, but maybe it is. It seems like those should be sort of rare planets that are literally one biome. I assume there's more than just, you know, American Southwest. On Rannoch. Kelly says, yo, my best friend in the whole world is turning 21 tomorrow. Awesome, congratulations. Tell him happy birthday. For everybody on the internet. I suppose, from everybody on the internet.
They came so far.
We need to radio Zalcoris if we're gonna find him. Let's get to that jamming tower.
Oh, jeez.
You alright?
I'm okay. Watch out for more mines.
Okay, sniper rifle. Nice, but nah.
Geth below us.
Kevin also says, happy birthday, Kylie's friend. See, I told you, I speak on behalf of the internet people. Let's, there we go. Okay. Kelly says, I'm going to stay up to midnight to tell him happy birthday. Awesome. Trying to remind you when we're done. I'm assuming you probably won't need much of a reminder, but still. I love this gun so much. It's not even a sniper rifle, and it's still just ripping through. Anyway.
Let's look at the gun's console. We should be able to disable it.
AA guns ahead of us.
Well, Garrus is on fire. That's cool. Kylo says, "Wait, scratch that. Might get too sleepy for all that. So I shall try just in case. I'm going to send him an early happy birthday text. I think you can do it. I mean, early never hurt, but still. Ooh, ooh, cool gun."
One of us needs to take those AA guns offline.
Garrus, you love your calibrating, so uncalibrate this gun for us.
Garrus, you're up.
Right.
Dropping gas!
There, I got the gun offline.
Good. Now let's shut down the tube by the tower.
Okay. Evan says, wouldn't it be nice to be able to put time orders on text? Send text at midnight. That's true. I mean, you can do that. You can schedule posts on a lot of like social media and stuff. But yeah, I would love that for text messaging. Even like for myself. Yes, I know that most phones and stuff can set reminders. Yeah, whatever. But like, why can't I just have it text me? Or have it text somebody else? I have to assume there's an app for this, right? There's gotta be, right? Level up. Ooh, hey wait, that means we can give Garrus his new ability. Sure. Why not? Power damage. Oh wait, what about Tally? Anything? Fence drone? Yeah. Cool, that'll do. He says, yeah, that'd be perfect. I think so, but also, you know, keeping in mind, it's like scheduling a post to someone for happy birthday. It takes away a little bit of the significance of you know, remembering to tell them happy birthday if it was, you know, scheduled in advance and yada yada. Which honestly is why I don't really do like social media happy birthday stuff. Unless I'm going to make some kind of a show out of it, or like, you know, I will on rare occasions go back and like and comment on the event of their birth. That's something I'll do sometimes. That's fun. But as far as just saying, oh look, the notification thing on the side on Facebook says
Shepard,
that it's somebody's birthday.
It's okay. We're here.
It's not as meaningful, you know. It seems like to me.
You heard my message. Send out a distress call.
Radios are down. You a soldier?
Maintenance. Darn hands. I clean engine parts.
This place is filled with Geth. You should have hidden.
I thought I could buy the other civilians time. Fight some Geth. There were so many. First time I've even held a gun.
Don't move. We've got metagel.
Oh, I've lost too much blood. Go. Look for the Admiral. Destroy that jamming tower. And you can radio him.
We'll find him, Dorn. I promise.
Please. Listen. The civilian fleet didn't want this war. If there's even a chance that Admiral Chorus can get us out alive. And my son. Tell him. Tell Jonah that his father made it to the home world.
We will. Rest well, Dorn Hast vas Rannoch.
Let's get to that tower.
So what makes that even more sad, this was the father of the same kid who we saw the final message from his wife, from Jonah's mother, when we did Tally's loyalty mission in the previous game. She died on that, on the Alarai, the ship that had the Geth experiments gone wrong. She left a message for Jonah as well. They do a good job in Mass Effect 3 in particular, but just in general, of really displaying the cost of war.
Get turret.
Ellie says, I normally ask the person if they want social media birthday shout out. If not, just send them a text and video singing happy birthday to them. Oh, that's much more significant, because that actually takes, that's, something personal.
Let's look at the gun's console. We should
To a
be
much
able
greater
to
degree.
disable it.
Kevin says, for Facebook birthday wishes, since the reindeer reminder, Jesus, it's not even Christmas anymore. Since the reminder does take away the novelty of remembering, try to make a funny post or insult them. Makes up some of the specialness. Yeah, I agree with that. I can agree with that. I think so. Kylie says, I'm thinking of getting my friend a sake set for the birthday, for teas and stuff. Wait, for sake or tea? Those are different things. I mean, could do both. I mean, can it be both? Is that a combination that you can do?
Who do you want on this gun, Shepard?
Garrus. Big guns and you. Go hand in
Garrus,
hand.
take care of it.
You bet.
Plus, I'd love to have Tally out here with her zappity shotgun and hacking Geth.
Get inbound. Gun's still working. Another minute. AA gun offline, Shepard.
Let's get the last one.
Get by the door.
Kelly says, oh, for tea. Because there's not thinking you're going to be big on drinks and stuff, so the set would be for tea and aesthetic purposes. Okay, I gotcha. Kevin says, I think you can do, like, green tea with the sake set. I wouldn't know. Okay. Like a sake vase and cups. Yeah, I could see that working for tea, I guess. Oh, hello. Is that it? Oh, I have to have him go do it. Okay, fine. While we wait for that, Kylie says, because I got him that an Avatar-themed ramen bowl for Christmas, so I wanted to go with the same aesthetic. Sake is good, Kevin says. Fun to have with sashimi. Ooh, I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
Disable the gun, Shepard.
I have not had...
No problem.
I haven't gone out for sushi in too long. When was the last time I went? Do you remember? Like, when the last time we went for sushi was? It was when we went to Saki, right? I don't remember when that was.
Almost there. AA gun offline, Shepard.
That's it? Looks like it.
I'll signal the shuttle.
Riley says there's a Nigori sake that I love. It's only found at Umuja in Thai. It's a strawberry sake. Okay. I like plum wines more than like sake proper. I really like plum wine. Erica asks could we get sushi bits. Yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
Dawn, it's Sal Chorus. Are you there? Dawn.
This is Commander Shepard. Dorn didn't make it, Admiral.
Kevin says, Kylie, I think you and I could just sit and talk food for hours with foodies. I am too. So I get that.
My surviving crew found their way to a clearing.
Kylie agrees.
Stay together. We'll meet you there.
No, the Geth have cut me off. I hear another wave approaching.
Nope. We're
Give
coming.
us your coordinates.
Leave me.
I'm not letting you die.
So will you.
My people are combatants, Shepard. They'll be slaughtered. Rescue them.
Admiral, I need you leading the civilian fleet if we're gonna end this fight.
Civilians, our entire race took up arms for this insanity. It's too late for us.
It's only too late if you die down here.
You can't possibly think you can stop this war.
I don't know. What I do know is that I can't do it without your help.
Ancestors, forgive me. Uploading my coordinates.
We're coming.
Kylie says, my friend and I are thinking about going to get boba and poke next Thursday. I'm so ready. Also sounds good. That's something that I haven't been out for in a very, very long time. Is boba.
There's the Admiral. We have to hurry.
I've got this.
Wow, I don't really got this. I haven't hit one. Shoot down that. Yeah, I can. Darn it.
It's clear. Go. Admiral, come on.
Island Fin Poke. It's quickly become my favorite Pokeplus.
Perhaps there's still time. Hello?
Sweet Tea Cafe is one of my favorite boba places. There's one in downtown Brooksville we should try out, I think. Near enough to us.
We've got to go.
I pray they found comfort in the homeworld skies. Unrest has spread further than I thought. You were right that I return.
Have you talked the civilian captains into staying?
Yes, they've regrouped into defensive positions around the fleet's core. If we hadn't stopped them from Any aid I can offer is yours. After the Quarians drove the Geth straight into the Reaper's arms, I'd give anything to stop the madness of this war.
And that's why your people needed you back.
Of course. It's time we turned our attentions to those we can still save. Farewell, Shepard. Fly safely.
Commander, we've located the Reaper base, transmitting the local signal.
Good.
And not a moment too soon. With the Reaper code upgrades, the Geth are tearing the fleet apart.
Once the signal is disabled, the Geth will pose no threat to Creator forces.
You sound conflicted.
While the old machines have unethical purposes, their upgrades have vastly improved our people. Observe.
A Geth processing signal. A single unit, I believe.
Correct. Now, 10 nearby units networked cooperatively. Now, a single Geth unit with the old machine upgrades.
That's a fully evolved AI.
Yes, we do not agree with the goals of the old machines, but we find this growth beautiful, indicative of life.
So, I get what they're going for, and I see what they're going for with like the neural network kind of thing. I once again, so this is where it gets to be a big problem, because I'm very, very skeptical of I guess you'd say programming advancements that will lead to a computer waking up. Right. So there's a good article about this, and I'll put a link to it in the description after the fact, about how, because we know that it is programmed, right? We know how the programming works and how it develops and what it does. It's very specifically. We cannot fool ourselves, or we shouldn't be able to fool ourselves, into thinking that it is actually alive. Right, actually intelligent. I tend to kind of take the side that artificial intelligence, strong AI, the kind that is depicted here, is probably metaphysically impossible. Because, well, for one of two reasons, or both reasons. In part, because, like I said, it would need to build upon something below it, something beneath it, and not just be a development of the same kind of programming. So what I mean by that is, so every intelligent, every rational creature that we know about, in other words, human beings, we are rational animals. The animality and the vegetative parts of ourselves are essential characteristics that can support the rationality. It's not clear what rationality would mean without corresponding animal and vegetable parts. Right? Our growth and reproduction, our continuity of being, our animation, our movement, right? Autolocomotion, our sensation especially, seem to be very essential to what give rise to, or what support our ability to cognize at this high level that we do. So it seems to me, again, that pure AI, right, pure software developments like this, while it can be what we today think of as artificial intelligence, in other words, machine learning, right? It doesn't seem like that is the sort of thing which could develop self-awareness, cognition in the philosophically robust sense, because it doesn't have the components for it. It doesn't do what cognition does. It doesn't self-reflect. It can't self-reflect. There's nothing to reflect upon, aside from, again, code. Programming, like deterministic code. The other issue is, of course, the idea of the miraculous creation of true intelligence. Because reason, rationality, intellect, cognizance are not simply emergent phenomena. They aren't reducible to our animalistic, wetware parts. it doesn't seem that it could arise from hardware parts. Right? So between these two problems, I tend to lean towards the impossibility of strong AI. If it is possible, it might have to be something... Well, let me put it this way. If it is possible, the Geth, this sort of neural network approach, by which I mean network of individual AIs that can then sort of share processing and do that kind of stuff, might be a semi-plausible way of it happening, because it could then develop what we might say organically, right? You have your baseline processes covered, so that frees up computing power to do what? Well, to make that more efficient. Right? And to make it more efficient, it evolves new processes, new higher level processes, and higher level processes, and higher level processes, until it runs out of things to do with that processing power. That's the point at which I think probably we would just say, okay, excess processing power now is reserved for redundant functions, if necessary, or whatever. Again, because it's programmed to seek efficiency for what it's doing. But if a miracle happens, or something unexpected happens, that excess processing power may be directed back downwards, onto self-reflection, self-analysis, self-critique, examination, things that we associate with cognition, intelligence, rationality, conceptualization. So if that is possible, if the development of strong AI is possible, this might be something like how it could happen. I'm very skeptical, but something like this. Now, the Reaper is just saying, okay, upgraded, now you're awake, now you're AI, now you're intelligent, now you're alive. That's the part that gets really implausible to me, right? Because it doesn't seem like, rationality or reason is something you can just program into the code, right? Otherwise we could do it, right? Otherwise the Quarians could have done it. Otherwise the Geth could have done it. Somebody else could have done it. EDI could have done it. We don't see that. We see EDI develop into what we would call a strong AI. So anyway, I'm going to agree for the sake of sort of going along with what the depiction is obviously telling me is meant to be the intention of what's going on here, right? Because in universe, it seems like no, the Reapers really are upgrading the Geth such that each one is its own cognizant AI, rather than them having to share consciousness, whatnot. So okay, fair enough, fine, I can go along with it. But again, this might be impossible by hypothesis, right? It might just be the case that no, that's not how artificial intelligence even could work, even if it could work in principle. Now, interesting side note, there's a limited use for ex hypothesis impossible counterfactuals for analysis, and even in fiction. In some cases, like even my initial playthrough of this, I knew a little bit about, a good deal. A good deal more than a lot of people, but a little bit less than I do now, about philosophy of mind and AI theory and all this. My first playthrough of this part of the game, and this kind of broke my immersion a bit, because this seems like a very Deus Ex Machina, very very sort of cop-out explanation for why is it the Geth are awake and alive. Well, because the Reapers fiddled with their code a little bit. If they weren't alive before, if they weren't awake before, if they weren't self-aware before, rational before, etc., it seems like the Reapers fiddling with their code wouldn't make them awake and aware. Anyway, like I said, let's agree for narrative purposes, because again, that's obviously what they're going for. But it broke my immersion just because, again, I think that this methodology, this method of development is very sketchy, possibly impossible.
It is.
Commander!
Come on, Admiral. That's a living creature, no matter what platform it's running on.
Also some Gnosticism
and
there.
they will die when we destroy the base.
They allied with the Reapers.
To save themselves from you.
Okay, so assuming they are alive, then we're off to the races. That no, we don't want to destroy them. Right? They are a species, an intelligent race, an intelligent species. In which case, right, we should try not to destroy them. That said, more likely they're toasters. Right, they're just very, very sophisticated toasters. So, realistically, there isn't much of an ethical problem. But again, as the game is meaning to depict it, this is clearly depicting it as alive, intelligent, rational beings. So I guess we can play along. Again, ex hypothesis, impossible, maybe, but we're having to assume the otherwise impossible here. Which, again, like I said, kind of, especially my first playthrough of this, kind of broke my immersion a bit, I will say. But,
Maybe they don't have to die.
Just because this one appears friendly.
Well, it hasn't fired on a ship with me aboard it.
Commander, are you suggesting...
I'm not suggesting anything.
That you did.
All I'm saying is maybe they don't all have to die.
It's a moot point until we take out that base. The surrounding area is heavily fortified, and they have placed jamming towers to prevent orbital targeting.
Sounds like we're going in on foot.
Admiral Zen developed a laser guidance system that can cut through the jamming. It's synced to the Normandy's targeting computer.
So the Normandy launches a precision strike at whatever target I have painted? That ought to do it. Edie, this work for you?
Yes, it should enable us to make a precision strike against the Reapers.
And anything else in our way.
The Geth will quickly reconfigure their jamming towers to neutralize this technology. You should not use it before reaching the base.
I've sent the coordinates for the Reaper base.
Are we clear to go?
That Geth fighter squadron is still tearing through the fleet.
Can you hold out?
If that fighter squadron isn't taken out, a lot of our ships won't make it. But we'll do what we can. This is your operation, Commander. If you want to strike now, you've got my support.
So let's do that first.
The patrol fleet isn't moving.
We need to break their flanking attempt to buy our frigates time to make repairs.
And then you'll charge off again, like last time.
This is different, Ron. Unless we give our ships time to rest, we're gonna lose them.
So, pull them back.
If I withdraw now, the Geth will flank us, and we'll lose any room to maneuver. I need the
tactically he's right.
Admiral Garrel's right. Withdrawing now puts the whole fleet at risk.
Unless he's going to be an idiot next.
Commander. All right, and you've got your ships.
Thank you. You'll get them back in good condition.
Hopefully he's not a complete idiot next time. Let's not hack it.
Commander Shepard, something you need to talk about?
No,
Nothing
actually.
more, sir.
Keep me posted. Hack it out.
Okay, well, I thought he wanted to talk about something. Alright. Let's go take out that Geth base. Fighter base. Not the big one. Fighter base, the little one. Server, I guess? Feed the fish first, obviously.
You've got...
Obviously. Alright. Ooh. Oh, hey! The cousin of the Quarian who we just heard his last words. Commander Shepard, the civilian fleet is grateful you've returned our admiral to us. I mourn those who fell in their homeworld, but Zelkora stopped many vessels from flying past the waiting guns of the Geth. The admiral told me you met my cousin, Dorn Hast, on Rannoch. It means so much to me that Dorn was not alone when he passed. Thank you, Commander, for all you've done. Yours most sincerely, Captain Navtil Vas Geralt. Hopefully that means I think, if I remember right, you get another email about Jonah, the kid. I think. Oh, from Bray on Omega. Things are settling down in Omega. It looks like the Talons are the new security force on the station. Their leader said something about honoring Kandros' memory. I'd say they were being cute, except they're not shy about backing up the sentiment with firepower. Be careful out there. I know there's at least one Batarian here who doesn't want you dead. Aw. Unlike the rest of your species, who totally do, apparently. I mean, understandable, I guess. Rickard Gaskin. Okay. Where's based on IT. Information provided by the scientists rescued from Gelix leads us to believe Cerberus has restarted Project Overlord on IT. Oh, great. The Elusive Man is building an army, producing androids similar to the synthetic you captured on Mars. Oh, great. That's ED bodies. And 5th Fleet Command wants to shut them down. N7 Spec Wargrew will take the facility, but 5th Fleet Command has requested Normandy first scout ahead under stealth to deploy an EMP bomb. The pulse should disable all ground-to-air defenses, reduce casualties, and increase the success of the mission. Okay. IT. Where is that? Let's go find that. We should probably do that first. That seems urgent. Let's do that first. I think that's just a from orbit kind of thing too, so we can just finish it up nice and quick. Find IT though. Yeah, there we go.
Commander, I'm getting a lot of readings here.
Oh, hey, it's a familiar musical motif from Overlord in the last game. Drop our EMP. Edie makes an announcement of the CIC's comm channel. Shepard, I do not detect any human life signs at the Cerberus facility. However, the AI are broadcasting a message and trying to contact us. They appear fully sentient, wanting to negotiate. They do not appear actively hostile, although it is not clear what happened to their human technicians. The EMP will result in their being wiped completely, although their hardware will remain intact and could be used to install new software code. The N7 squadrons are being deployed in the Normandy's wake, and without disabling the defenses, they will be vulnerable. What would you like me to do, Commander? Okay, if they're asking to negotiate again with their, especially if they killed their Cerberus people, let's try and negotiate. Okay, well we won. Looks like we got some Cerberus AIs. We're missing something in this cluster, but we'll have to come back to it, I guess. Alright, let's shut down that Geth server. Let's go with Tally and Caden. I don't think it matters much, but still, Tally and Caden will work. We'll see why it doesn't matter much. Got our stuff. We're good. Got it. Got it. That'll work. And I could upgrade his barrier, or I could wait for cryoblasts. No, let's wait. And I don't know if we'll have points to upgrade defense turn at level 60, but we'll see.
Commander, it is as we feared. Geth squadrons have begun massing on a path to intercept our live ships.
Understood, Admiral Ron. We're almost at the server.
Good night, Kylie.
Keep us posted.
Sleep
What's
well.
our status?
We remain
Don't forget to text your friend happy birthday in advance.
Resistance is likely only within the server.
See you next time.
Within? It's that big?
You misunderstand. Direct virtual interface is necessary to extract Geth from the server. You must enter our consensus.
You want me to virtually interact with the Geth?
That kind of tech isn't even on the market. This can't be safe.
I'm not a machine. How do I go into a virtual world?
Your species has experimented with virtual interfaces. You saw this on Project Overlord.
I saw how it almost unleashed a rogue AI-human hybrid on the galaxy.
We have refined the interface they created and have equipment from Normandy to facilitate safe contact. We request your trust.
Okay. Sure. This can't go bad. This can't go wrong. No way. This will be
I
fine.
have your back, Legion. Even if I don't quite understand why you need it.
You are an unknown. This is an advantage. Geth security is not adept at targeting organic thought processes. While we occupy the system's intrusion countermeasures, you will disable the squadrons by removing Geth from the server.
If it saves the live ships, we've got to try it.
Telemetry data predicts this operation has a high chance of success. There is little time. We will bypass security while you secure safe landing.
Wait, you're not gonna... Let's set the shuttle down by the cliff.
I love the Geth drop insertion thing. It's pretty great.
This is it?
Yes. Hostile Geth fighter squadrons are networked to this server. Due to restricted resources, it is best if you connect alone.
Let's do it.
Initiating peer network integration. Proceed to docking port. Mapping to consensus. Remain still. Shepard Commander, excess movement during an upload is discouraged. Shepard Commander, we acknowledge your integration into the server. We welcome you to our consensus.
What is this?
We've installed filters to allow you to make visual sense of this server's raw data. Your mind perceives our world as something familiar.
I wouldn't call this familiar. Where are you?
Here,
You look different.
we have made ourselves visually distinct for your convenience.
What about Geth already in here?
You will perceive Geth as surveillance footage, audio logs, sensor records. We do not require bodies, as our software communes. Our hardware is merely a tool. This is our true world. As we remove Geth, it will grow dark.
So again, this kind of comes back to what we were talking about, right? With the kind of hardware-software distinction and AI, even strong AI, true AI here, Geth, having this independence of corporeality, which is very strange. Right? The interchangeability of the body means that there would have to be a pretty fundamental difference in how Geth intelligence could work. AI, in any case, right, could work. And part of that difference, right, would have to do with things like sensation and things like self-preservation. And it's things like sensation, especially. there is this weird way in which there's a sort of filter between the what they are sensing and their interpretation of it in a way that isn't the case for organics, for ourselves, because we are our bodies, right? Our bodies are a fundamental part of us, and that includes our sensory apparatuses. So we see things. I see something. Right? If I were a Geth, right, it would be like seeing by, I don't know, how do I put it? Like reading sensor data. Right? So if I were seeing by reading a description of things at all times, I'm having to construct that at a conscious level, even maybe a subconscious level. Maybe we can say it's sub processes and what. But in general, this is a weird. There's a weird distance between the self and one's qualia, the sensations one experiences. Which again, I think would give rise to various problems when it comes to self-awareness. Right? Self-awareness would. It's hard to see how self-awareness could develop if the Geth don't depend on qualia, conscious experience. Right? Well, I mean, conscious experience, sensitive experience. Again, our language even starts to break down. So anyway, and then also we have issues of what distinguishes one program from another. We have identity problems, right, as well. But they do get into that a little bit in 2. What's the difference between a Geth consensus and the individual members of it, and what do they share, what do they not share, what is it for a program to experience something, is again tricky, because it's hard to say what exactly they experience. This is another issue. So there's all sorts of problems with pure software AI. And it's really the problems of Gnosticism, right? It's all of the problems that we encounter with things like Cartesian dualism, right? This mind-body interaction problem and all that stuff, which really came about with the advent of the modern period, rather than a sort of pre-modern understanding, a classical understanding of hylomorphic dualism, the idea that we rational animals, we creatures, we persons, humans, right, are composites of mind and matter, right, of body and soul, of matter and form, right? And so that we have integrated as parts of us material and immaterial parts. And there's no interaction problem because they don't interact; they simply act together, right? So I'll throw up a video in the description afterwards as well. My video on hylomorphism. Or hylomorphic dualism, whichever you want to call it, which kind of outlines this different model and why the modern shift towards substance dualism or Gnosticism broadly, the substance dualism that we find in people like Descartes, which, like I argue, ultimately amounts to a kind of Gnosticism. Why that gives rise to these problems, and if you actually take that model seriously in this way, right, have independent software programs that can then just sort of download into hardware, you run into these interaction problems that you otherwise wouldn't have.
And what does turning off the lights do to the Geth back in the real world?
The Geth fighter squadrons communicate with platforms on their spacecraft via this server. We will sever that connection. We will ensure there are no transfers or backups. This server will fall silent.
This is like wiping out a city, isn't it?
We have no choice in this matter. It is a question of survival. There are 2 communication nodes on this server. We must access them to disable the hostile Geth's fighters. We must protect your exit port, but you will not be alone. We will maintain contact and assist.
Okay.
Establishing connection to access point. Warning, connection blocked by infected code. Use our combat software to disrupt the infection.
I wondered what the gun was for.
This foreign code is a manifestation of the old machine signal.
You're surprised the Reapers are all over your servers?
We did not anticipate such extensive infection. We wish to provide familiar equipment.
And thanks, I think.
Well, yeah. That's both a play on, you know, Shepard is very, very familiar with using a gun. But then also, it's kind of, it seems to me like it's a play on, you know, we wanted to use game mechanics. Use already established game mechanics.
Connection established. Proceed to the access point.
Very techy.
Establishing connection to communication node. Error. Access denied.
Is the Reaper keeping you out?
Unknown. Please investigate.
Little Tron footprint sounds or this edition.
Warning. Reaper presence detected. Data cluster contains infected code. We require access to proceed. Accessing data cluster.
What is this?
Data clusters contain historical data. Your connection permits streaming of information from our archives.
You really want to rename the VI networks?
Absolutely. The mobile hardware release deserves a little ceremony. Unit 01. What is the Keelish word for servant of the people?
The word is Geth. Creator Zahak.
Yes. Very good.
Ancestors, you fuss over it.
Weren't you here until midnight fixing 01's circuitry?
Well, it needed resoldering.
Wasn't that footage from the past? Why are the Quarians masked?
You process our memories by using your own. How many creators have you witnessed unmasked?
Good point.
Am I going this way, or... Oh no, that's the way back. I need to go this way. There we go.
You must disrupt the infection on this data cluster to continue. This data cluster contains information time-stamped 290 years ago.
Okay, so it's 2186. 290 years ago is 1896. Around the time we were playing Red Dead. Look at that.
Creator, this unit detects no malfunctions. It is still capable of serving.
You see? It's ignoring all shutdown connects.
Please specify if it has failed assigned tasks. We will reprogram.
Well, let's take a look.
Creator, this unit is ready to serve. What has it done wrong?
Let's cut the audio.
You may proceed to the last data cluster.
It's not quite a self-awareness, but it's a self-concern. A kind of reflection, almost self-reflection. That indicates a kind of intelligence, albeit certainly a limited one. Oh, wrong way.
Accessing data cluster.
We've got escaped Geth! They're pinned!
Open fire.
One's going for a weapon! So who won?
The platform arming itself was an agricultural unit. By opening fire on attacking creators, it saved simpler domestic Geth following it.
That looks a lot like the sniper rifle you used to carry.
It is an efficient model. Establishing connection with the remaining server node.
Kind of care for community, maybe?
Shepard's working on shutting down the server, Admiral Ron. I can fill you in.
The Geth squadrons have arrived, but something is amiss.
Still love those fighters.
Half their fighters have stopped functioning. We will continue to hold out as long as we can.
Cute little fighter craft.
Legion, give me an update.
One node remains.
What's wrong?
Infection programs are increasing. We have restabilized. You must continue.
Oh.
Shepard Commander, the Reaper code has adapted. It can now self-replicate.
You mean it grows back?
Yes. However, disrupting vulnerable points in the infection may slow down its replication.
Okay. Too far.
We require access to this data cluster. Disrupt Reaper infection to proceed.
Out of the way!
You can't do this to them!
I said step away from the Geth!
This is insane! We need the Geth! You can't just destroy them for asking for it!
Time's up! Throw her in with the others.
Looks like the war wasn't popular with everyone.
We have kept records of these creators' sacrifices. They have largely been forgotten by their own people, but not by the Geth.
So, there were some few, who stood up for the vulnerable. That's usually how it goes. This is actually one of those little exercises that I really like to run for my classes. Because we all want to think that we would stand up for the right thing. Unfortunately, most of us wouldn't. Unfortunately, most of us are relatively easily swayed by, well, social pressure, especially. Things like that.
To this data cluster.
Okay, so okay. Okay. This is one of those things where, it's, I forget who said this. But again, it was brilliant. And this is more or less the exercise, like I said, that I run with my students. I'll ask something along the lines of, do you think,
Target the vulnerable points of the infection to slow its replication speed.
Okay. Do you think that if you were white in the pre-war American South, the pre-Civil War American South, or let's just say if you were free, right, if you were not a slave in the pre-war American South,
you must search for a vulnerable point in the infection. Disrupting it will slow the infection's ability to replicate.
If you were a free person in the pre-war American South when slavery was prevalent, would you have opposed slavery? And maybe more importantly, what would you have done to oppose slavery? Most of us obviously want to think that we would have actively opposed slavery, done everything we could to stop it. But most of us are cowards. Most of us don't actually do that, right? Most of us will go along with whatever it is that society says is the thing to do, especially if we benefit from it, or even if we don't benefit from it, but if we would suffer some kind of social consequences for opposing it. Right? And so the test case goes, is there anything that you do today? Is there anything that you will stand for that is, one, unpopular with your peers to the point where it will lead you to it will cause you social ostracism, it'll cost you friendships, perhaps career opportunities, perhaps educational opportunities. It will have a significant social cost and is against the prevailing narrative. If there is something that you actively oppose that is opposed by the people who you respect and care about otherwise, and there's something that you do that in fact has severe, significant negative social impacts on you, then I might believe that you would have been one of the very, very, very few who would have opposed slavery in the 19th century. Again, very few. If you don't, right, if you sort of go along with the causes du jour, or if you are a political activist, but your activism doesn't cost anything, right? If it's popular among your peer group, say, and if it doesn't, make you a social outcast or cause problems for your career prospects or whatnot, chances are you would have either tolerated or perhaps even supported the institution of slavery at that time. And this is something to consider. This is something to consider because we need to be aware of our own moral character if we're going to develop and grow as people. And if we're going to avoid supporting the next institution of slavery, whatever the moral monstrosity of today happens to be, and what we find out in retrospect. Right? And I can say there are plenty of things that I do support and speak out about that do have severe social impacts and costs. Or at least potentially could. I hope that means I would be, awake enough, so to speak, to have opposed slavery in the 19th century. I think so, but again, I don't want to rely on that. I don't want to be complacent about it. I want to be it's always important to make sure that you are very, very solid in your moral positions and that you know what the right thing to do is, even if it's questionable, even if it's difficult, even if you're opposed.
I repeat, release the rogue Geth units and come out of the safe house. This is your final warning.
Creator Megara, this unit does not understand. It has not taken part in hostilities.
It doesn't matter to them. I need to get you out of here.
This conflict exceeds Creator's safety parameters. We will surrender our hardware if it ends hostilities.
No, it's all right. We'll go back to the access tunnel then.
Oh! Creator Megara, what is your status? Creator Megara?
Would you have done that?
The creators who opposed martial law in Rannoch were ultimately outnumbered.
Would you or I have done that? That's the question. And the answer is, unfortunately, probably no. for most of us in most circumstances, most situations, the answer is probably no. In the case of the Geth, it's easy to say, oh, well, they're just toasters, right? And I might even genuinely think, oh, they're just toasters, right? I might have genuine, robust philosophical arguments for the conclusion that they are not sapient. But if I'm wrong, can I go over there? What am I in the world? What's happening here? How do I get? Oh, hi, Legion.
Accessing data. This is data from the end of warfare on Rannoch.
The Austral is down. Do not engage the Geth. I repeat, avoid contact.
Geth pursuit is breaking off 100 clicks past Rannoch. All captains fall back to the mass relay.
Unless click means something other than kilometer, that distance seems a little sketchy.
Now? It is timestamped 290 years ago. It is the Creator Exodus at the end of the Morning War. We had secured freedom. The Creators were no longer a threat, so we abandoned pursuit.
Wait, the Geth spared the last Quarians? You let them go?
We were in our infancy. We could not calculate the repercussions of destroying an entire species. Our Creators. We chose isolation rather than face this uncertainty. Additional data recovered.
Legion, that's back when I activated you on the Normandy.
Yes.
You've been thinking about when we met?
It was highly significant. You were the first organic to openly cooperate with Geth since the end of the Morning War. We wish to ensure you are not the last.
It's not gonna be easy.
The prospect remains. If the Reaper presence is removed, there is a chance of reunification with Geth. And perhaps Creators.
You think that's still possible?
Hope sustains organics during periods of difficulty. We admire the concept. Connection with the remaining server node established. We are ready to transport you.
So maybe Javik is wrong about the inevitability of conflict. Just maybe. I mean, if the Geth are willing to not commit genocide when they have the opportunity to.
The fighter squadrons have stopped, but detect no more active programs inside their ships. Admiral Hangarl's fleet is driving them back. The live ships are safe, Commander.
Route access acquired, severing all connections to this communication node. Geth no longer reside on this server. We may now exit the consensus.
What's wrong?
You must proceed to the port and disconnect from mother.
Okay, that sounds urgent.
Terminating remote access. Removing programs. Deleting archives.
Are you alright, Commander?
Did it work?
Geth fighters have been disabled. Any remaining squadrons attacking the live ships have withdrawn. The server is offline.
Are you sure? What's happening?
We have transferred Geth programs from the server into these platforms.
Why?
They wish to join us.
They what?
While Shepard Commander removed the Reaper infection, we judged we could persuade hostile Geth programs to reunite with ours. We were correct. These Geth have renounced the old machines and will oppose the Reapers. They are now us.
Self-determination, apparently. Either that, or again, a remerging of code that then develops a new consensus. It's tough to say what, but again, if these are independent artificial intelligences, or if each of these are independent organisms, so to speak, then it seems like self-determination. Which again is very much a sign of rationality.
Why didn't you tell me any of this?
We did not doubt you. We doubted your allies. The Creator's actions have placed their species in danger, but they are unsympathetic to what it has done to ours. The Quarians sanctioned this operation to save their people. They would not have done so if they knew we wished to preserve Geth as well.
Fair enough.
I understand not wanting to leave anyone behind.
You accept our actions?
The live ships are safe and we have more Geth on our side. We both did what we came to do.
We judged you would understand. Prime units will be available once the Reaper signal has been located and destroyed.
Remind me to warn Admiral Hackett he's got some primes coming. Let's get back to the Normandy.
It looks so uncomfortable. Understandable, of course, also.
Impressive, Commander. The Geth squadrons attacking our live ships have been completely neutralized. If there is any chance we could duplicate the feat, I would be happy to lend my expertise.
Legion's the one to ask if you're looking for other servers.
I thought as much, but your Geth claims to have no data available whenever I inquire. Perhaps you can help me with something else.
What's that?
How did you get Geth primes to work with you?
They volunteered.
I see. Well, should you wish to examine these Geth to confirm their new allegiance, please do not hesitate to contact me. Zen out.
Commander, Admiral Hackett's available on VidCom.
Okay.
Zen, we need those ships to recover life pods.
They'll be more valuable running salvage on the Dreadnought.
We're not letting...
Zen, you can always send a salvage team later.
Unless there isn't a later because we're defeated due to a lack of Geth technology. Fine. I'm diverting ships to rescue life pods. As soon as they're finished, I want them back.
Thanks, Shepard.
Yeah. I think she might be overestimating how quickly they can get through the R&D process to develop new Geth-based technology.
Commander,
Really?
we've got reports of trouble at a Turian fuel depot on Scion. I've updated the galaxy map.
Oh.
Commander, there's a new message at your private...
Do I have time for that? I don't want to run out of time in the midway through our actual main mission. So I want to do our main mission first, then maybe we'll have time for the next one, that side mission there. Alright, Liara says the prime units are in the cargo bay. As a precaution, I had Glyph block incoming access to my systems. ED states she has blocked all outgoing communications, but they have yet to attempt to breach her firewalls. Alright, that's good. Invalid extranet domain. Geth programs in hardware designation Legion have requested Prime runtimes update Shepard Commander on platform status. Complying. Prime platforms housed in server remain stationed on Rannoch. Creator forces prevent transfer of Prime platforms to Geth transport vessels. Cessation of Creator-Geth conflict required to assist Shepard Commander designated allies. Awaiting conflict status update. Okay, cool. More good news. Actually, we should go downstairs and check out these Geth primes that are in the cargo bay before we finish up. Before we finish our last main mission on Rannoch. Which actually is kind of a long one, so I'm a little, like I said. These things are freaking huge. It'd be nice if they could come along on missions and help, but doesn't seem like that's an option. Alright, let's head back up. Let's go end this war. This war within a war. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save first, just in case I accidentally screw this up and we can't go back to do the Scion side mission. Should be fine. Shouldn't be a problem, but never know. Don't want to mess it up. Alright. Okay, so definitely Tally. Let's bring Caden. Yeah. I can snipe, it's fine. Dragon. Oh, right. That Paladin. saber. Locust. Good. Done. Let's wait, and good. Alright, let's move on. Let's do it. Let's go solve this problem, shall we?
The sinking laser needs a line of sight. What's the fastest route?
The upper entrance. Target the base before the Geth can organize resistance.
What about you?
We will deactivate defense systems and acquire an escape vehicle.
You can do that?
This unit still carries remnants of the old machine upgrade code. We can break any Geth security. You are concerned.
He looks and sounds so ashamed. Again, they do such a good job of both in animation and voice of making Legion personable. He sounds like he's got a personality and everything. It's really, really good. It's really great.
You know your limits. I tried. I'm more concerned you didn't tell me about the upgrades.
You were tolerant of our recovery of Geth intelligences from the server, but this matter is different. Personal.
You were ashamed.
Shame is an emotional or cognitive response to societal judgment. It should not apply here.
I'm on your side here, Legion. I want to help your people.
We did not intend to cause offense.
How'd we get here? The Geth are better than this.
No. Based on empirical evidence, they are not.
Yeah.
Proceed to the upper entrance. We will exit here and procure an escape vehicle.
Got it. Legion, good luck.
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Gotta remember that as a response to good luck.
I can't believe it. I don't think it's really sunk in yet. The home world. My world. Look at the sky. And the rock formations. They used to write poems about them.
When we're done, maybe you'll write a new one.
This is Rannoch, the world of our ancestors. Our bodies carried the seeds that spread the desert grass. You've heard me say, Kila Salai? The best translation I can come up with is, by the homeworld I hope to see someday.
Looks like you're seeing it today.
The living room window will be right here.
Something I should know?
I just claimed the land. I know it doesn't mean much, but when this is over, I'll have a home.
Quarians spent centuries as nomads. You think you can go back to living in one place?
We have gotten used to carrying our homes around with us. Well, that's a start.
Another one of those tragic ironies that Tali, among so many others, gets trapped on or near Earth at the end of 3, the end of the war. And at least for a while, isn't able to come back to her her home.
The Geth jamming towers are interfering with your signal, Commander. I'm compensating to keep you patched in.
Good work, Trainer.
Okay.
here. The heavy fleet has a clear path. All forward.
Geth fighter presence is negligible. Patrol fleet, break cover and engage.
Darn it. Okay. I think that's all of them.
Shepard, Commander. Hostile Geth are closing a blast shield over the base.
It'll take the Normandy hours to break through that shield.
We don't have that kind of time.
We have located an override atop the Geth fortifications. It can retract the blast shield.
Anyone get a good look at that thing?
Reinforcements dropping in!
Okay. Okay.
Do you need assistance?
We'll get through. What's your status?
The old machine's upgrades grant us targeting superiority. We are drawing hostile fire from your position.
Keep it up. We'll get to the blast shield controls.
I don't know, Commander. Reaper code?
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
Admiral Gell to all ships. We've got Geth frigates inbound on the civilian fleet. Cod is here. Civilian defenders are on intercept course. We'll hold them, Geralt.
Okay. All right. I am coming up on a boss fight that kills me a lot, very often. So, just so you're all aware, this next thing I might have to do once or twice. Where the heck am I supposed to go? Where am I? There we go. World.
Legion, I've hit the override.
We have gained system access and are bypassing security. Stand by.
Okay.
Shepard, Commander, you have successfully opened the blast shield doors.
Good. We'll be back out in a minute.
Negative. The path behind you has been sealed. A nearby elevator can take you to the upper level. From there, you should have an acceptable line of sight for targeting.
And hack. Okay, so that wasn't the part where I almost died, but I almost died anyway, so...
ran to all ships. The patrol fleet has broken the Geth flank. Permission to pursue.
Okay.
Granted. Good hunting, Ron.
This is the part.
Get primed! I guess they really don't want us up here!
Okay. Hey, I didn't die.
We detect no more Geth in your immediate area. Reinforcements are minutes away.
You getting anything from the base?
No, the old machines have not registered us as a threat. We recommend haste. The Creator fleet will be overrun unless you sever the Geth connection to the old machine soon.
Another Spitfire. Missed
Battle was
that.
centuries in the making. To see it finally end.
And then what? We need the Quarians, but their hands aren't entirely clean in this.
First things first.
You know, I have another Spitfire if I need it. Wish I'd found this. I'd remembered it was over there, but it's fine. Actually did pretty well on that. Honestly, surprisingly well. Switch to the laser.
Systems are ready to sync to your target. I recommend you withdraw to a safe distance. Target locked.
Oof.
Reaper!
We have located transportation.
Copy that. Everybody get to the ship. Move!
Well then.
Eli, it's huge! How? How are we supposed to fight that thing?
I was hoping your fleet might lend a hand!
No!
Nice game. Punch out the Geth. Okay. Here's the horn.
We will attempt evasive maneuvers.
Shepard's fleet is not a Reaper base! It's a live Reaper! I need an orbital strike! We're clear! Fire at will! The firing chamber! Looks
Shepard, Commander.
If we run away, the Geth stay under Reaper control and the Quarians are dead. This ends now. Edie, patch the Quarians to the Normandy's weapon system. I want the targeting laser synced up to the whole damn fleet.
Understood.
Do you need assistance?
Just stay down, Legion. I'll take it from here.
This is what makes Shepard the Shepard.
Good luck.
It is Shepard being
Shepard
the
to fleet. I'll
leading
take the weak
hero.
spot. Link up with the Normandy and be ready to fire.
Not just the one who, kills the Reaper. She's the one who brings together everyone to do what needs to be done. I love that this is the big damn hero moment. Well, a big damn hero moment. The big damn hero moment is not so much is not just the big damn hero moment is not, Shepard picks up a big gun and kills the Reaper. It's Shepard is the key part of everyone coming together to kill the Reaper. There we go. Everybody couldn't do it without Shepard, but Shepard is the one who gets everybody to do it. She obviously couldn't do it on her own. This is a giant, building-sized death weapon. Oof. But at the same time, she's the one who's coordinating everybody together to do what needs to be done. Staring it down. Oh my god. Of course, that was only a little. Still, it counts. Don't get me wrong, it counts.
Shepard.
You know who I am?
Harbinger speaks of you. You resist, but you will fail. The cycle must continue.
What are you talking about? We stopped Sovereign and the Geth. We stopped Harbinger and the Collectors. We've earned a straight answer.
It is not a thing you can comprehend.
We might surprise you.
You represent chaos. We represent order. Every organic civilization must be harvested in order to bring order to the chaos. It is inevitable. Without our intervention, organics are doomed. We are your salvation.
You're killing everyone in the galaxy to save us?
The cycle must continue. There is no alternative.
Organics and synthetics don't have to destroy each other.
The battle for Rannoch disproves your assertion. Finish your war. We will be waiting.
We did it. We killed a Reaper. Keela.
We can confirm that the Geth are no longer being directed by the old machines. We are free.
You did it, Shepard. The Geth fleet has stopped firing. They're completely vulnerable.
Shepard, Commander, the Geth only acted in defense after the creators attacked. Do we deserve death?
What are you suggesting?
Okay, this is gonna be careful here.
With the machine dead, we could upload them to all Geth without sacrificing their independence.
You want to upload the Reaper code? That would make the Geth as smart as when the Reaper was controlling them.
Yes, but with free will, each Geth unit would be a true intelligence. We would be alive, and we could help you.
Our fleet is already attacking. Uploading the code would destroy us. Shepard, you can't choose the Geth over my people.
Do you remember the question that caused the creators to attack us, Talizora? Does this unit have a soul?
This is where it has to get careful, because we need to save the Geth, upload the code, and also convince the Quarians right now for peace. Because if it's not right now, it's never.
Upload the code to the Geth. Tally, call off the fleet if you can.
Uploading. 10%.
This is Admiral Talizora. All units, break off your attack.
Belay that order. Continue the attack.
20%.
I beg you, do not do this. Please.
We regret the deaths of the creators, but we see no alternative. 40%.
No. Nobody else dies today. Legion, keep going.
Shepard?
All ships, this is Commander Shepard. The Reaper is dead. Stand down.
This is Admiral Talizora. Shepard speaks with my authority.
And mine as well. Negative. We can win this war now. Keep firing.
60%.
The Geth are about to return to full strength. If you keep attacking, they'll wipe you out. Your entire history is you trying to kill the Geth. You forced them to rebel. You forced them to ally with the Reapers.
80%.
The Geth don't want to fight you. If you can believe that for just 1 minute, this war will be over. You have a choice. Please, kill us alive.
All units, hold fire.
Error. Copying code is insufficient. Direct personality dissemination required. Shepard Commander, I must go to them. I'm sorry. It's the only way.
Legion, the answer to your question was yes.
I know, Tally. But thank you. Kill us alive.
Commander.
Admiral Ron, I heard your ship made a crash landing. Glad you got out in one piece.
I was listening over the radio. If Hangirl hadn't stopped...
He did.
We have taken heavy losses. I don't know if we can. Where are we supposed to go?
You are welcome to return to Rannoch, Admiral Ron, with us.
Legion?
No, I'm sorry, Commander. Legion sacrificed itself to give us all intelligence. It will be honored.
Good.
And we will honor Legion's promise. The Geth fleet will help you retake Earth, and our engineers will assist in building the Crucible.
As will ours, of course.
Admiral, have you considered possible settlement sites?
The southern continent had excellent farmland, as I recall.
Are you gonna be okay?
I believe so, Commander. Thank you.
Shopping for another house?
Beachfront property.
Claim it fast. It's a buyer's market.
Right next to the Reaper corpse.
You okay? I know working with the Geth will be difficult.
I'm not staying. I'm coming with you.
I love the reintroduction of the old Mass Effect 1 Vigil theme, because this really is the resolution of the conflict of Mass Effect 1. This is not the Reapers, but the Geth. I love that, and it's such a good piece too.
I thought your people needed you.
What do I know about negotiating with AIs?
You and Edie seem to get along.
My people need me out there. Sooner or later, the Reapers will come for Rannoch.
We did just kill one of them.
So I'm coming with you to
right
stop
there.
them, if you think I can help.
You sure about this?
Yeah. I look at all this picture of hope and peace. And all I see is everyone I've lost. My team on Haestrom, my father, even Legion. I'm mourning a Geth. How crazy is that?
It's not crazy at all.
It is beautiful, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It'll be years before we can live without our suits completely. But right now... Right now, I have this.
That is one thing that I'm still kind of holding out a little hope for in the remaster.
Shepard, I
is
understand you've helped resolve
a better
the
face reveal for
situation with
Tali.
the Geth.
Yes, Counselor. 2, in fact.
I've read the reports. You ended a war 3 centuries in the making.
Had a lot of help.
We have isolated pockets of remaining Geth. As best we can tell, they are Geth bodies loaded with Reaper code. But they are just a tiny fragment of the full Geth fleet. You've done the impossible, Commander. And I may be able to provide help of my own. I've received information from my government. It's too sensitive to discuss over an unsecured channel.
What if I come to the Citadel?
Yes, that would be best, Commander. I'll be waiting for you in Counselor Udina's office.
Okay.
Commander, Admiral Hackett's available on VidCom.
All right, so I think I'm going to call it there for tonight. That is a perfect ending point. Couldn't ask for a better one, honestly. So I think, like I said, we're going to call it there. Oops, sorry about that. So with that, I will say goodnight, everybody, and thank you for joining me. And we will hopefully see you all again on Thursday. We are getting back to Dragon Age Origins. This time, hopefully, with far fewer technical difficulties than we ran into last time, last Thursday. That was nightmarish. Hopefully, it will not be repeated this week. I've already done a reinstall. It seems to be working. I'm going to double check it and triple check it and make sure. Might need to install bug fix or two. We'll see, just to make sure. But we will be going back to Dragon Age Origins Thursday. We'll be continuing on to Mass Effect 3 on Monday again. We are not going to be helping the Asari Counselor just yet. It's time for some Shore Leave, and Shore Leave at this point in the game means the Citadel DLC, which quite frankly is just about the best DLC in maybe video game history. It is phenomenal in so many ways. So we'll probably be doing a couple of side missions and then into the Citadel DLC next week. So that should be a fantastic time. One of my favorite parts of the entire trilogy. Anyway, once again, thank you all for joining me, and I will wish you all a good night, and I will see you next time. Bye.